Hello, I'm Will, this is Mike, we are the Tabletop Donkeys.
Hello.
And we're bringing you issue 12 of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Mortal Realms today. This issue came with a Stormcast Eternals Knight-Questor miniature. And as always, if you want to skip straight ahead to the playthrough, there will be a timecode in the description. We're having a look inside the issue. We've got the background for the Knight-Questor. These are warriors who have been sent on quests by Sigmar himself to undertake some task, slaying a particular foe. Others have stranger quests such as finding strange items or delivering a message. They will follow their instructions to the letter until they die or until it's accomplished. There's some examples there of the sort of things they might be asked to do, and a particular one, the Night-Questor on the Hallowblade. And we have Nighthaunt Chronicles of Terror, Part 2. This is more of the history of the Nighthaunt and some of their actions as Nagash launches his new offensive to drive the forces of Chaos back across the Mortal Realms. And includes the Necroquake, which was not quite in his plan, but nevertheless resurrected a huge number of Nighthaunt. And then moving on to the Soul Wars themselves, where Nagash tries to prevent anyone stealing the souls he considers to be rightfully his. And we have the Hallowed Knights Stormhost for the Stormcast Eternals. These are the fourth Stormhost to be struck, therefore of the first striking. And they are, as it says, one of the most zealous of the Stormhosts, and they consider fighting against Chaos to be almost a holy, sacred duty. They consider resisting the taint of Chaos to be a mark of purity of their souls, and they also consider being reforged to be a great honour because it brings them closer to Sigmar every time that happens. And you can see their colour scheme and heraldry at the bottom there. They're mostly silver with blue and gold detailing. Then Into the Labyrinth is a sort of small bit of fiction about the Night-Questor Wyland Lightbearer quest took him into the heart of a silver tower. These are bizarre magical fortresses created by the Chaos god Tzeentch, and each one ruled over by a sorcerer called a Gaunt Summoner. The quest into a silver tower is actually the background behind the Warhammer Quest Silver Tower board game, for which you can actually see some of the miniatures for over the page here. Then build instructions for the Night-Questor, quite simple, comes in 5 parts, doesn't have any options. Not an easy to build miniature, so you do need glue to put him together. He doesn't come with a scenic base, so if you want him to match your existing models, then you might have to do a bit of work on the base to do so. And then how to paint him, and nothing new here compared to what we've learnt before for the Stormcast. Gold with a dry brush of silver over the top, and then blue and white for the cloak, and that's as far as we can paint him with the paints we have so far. That's it for our magazine overview. We'll be on to our battle now, our Clash of Heroes.
So we're on to our playthrough for this issue, a Clash of Heroes. So Xandria Azurebolt has been joined by the Knight-Questor Orric Ravenscar. They've entered a mausoleum in search of a stave infused with death magic, but in doing so they have encountered the Briar Queen and the Tomb Banshee. So we're back onto the little tomb map, Knight-Questor and Xandria on one side and the Briar Queen and the Tomb Banshee on the other. And here we have a reference sheet just going over all the rules we've learned so far. So we take it in turns, and each turn has 5 phases. And in the combat phase we alternate picking units that are engaged and so on. And we also have some updated war scrolls for the 3 heroes we've met so far, and a new one for the Night-Questor. So we start with Xandria. You can see she has a 3+ save. She has 3 attacks hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s, with a Rend of -1, so I'll go over Rend in a second, and doing D3 damage with her staff. She has Arcane Bolt, has a casting value of 5. It also does mortal wounds, so you don't get to any saves against it. And she also has a Void Storm scroll, as it says in the little side box. She can automatically unbind 1 spell once per game. The Night-Questor, he has the 3+ save, 5 wounds, 5-inch move, much like Xandria. He has 4 attacks with his Warblade, hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s, -1 Rend, 1 damage. But if he rolls a 6 to wound, he does 2 damage, and he can reroll failed save rolls because of his Sigmarite shield. And the Briar Queen, you can see she's got a 4+ save. She hits on 3s, wounds on 3s with her Scream, with a Rend of -3. She is ethereal, and I'll explain that in a second. And she can fly. And the Tomb Banshee, again, you can see that her stats you've mostly seen before, but she has a Rend of -2, and she's ethereal and all that. So what exactly is Rend? Rend is a modifier to the target's save, so when a model makes a save, you subtract the Rend value from their save. So, say the Briar Queen did a wound to the Night-Questor, his 3+ save would become a 6+ save, because she has -3 Rend with her Scream. And ethereal means that Nighthaunt units ignore Rend, so their save is not modified, so they always have a 4+ save. A lot of this will become apparent when we play, just going through the examples of how things work. Stormcast get to go first, starting with the hero phase, so Xandria can cast spells, and you move as normal, charge as normal, and fight as normal. And then it goes into the Nighthaunt turn. In this example, you can see the Night-Questor re-rolling a failed save with his shield, not taking any damage. Keep going until one side has no moles left. And we'll probably do a couple of goes at this to see how long it takes, but we'll get into the battle now. So here we are back in the mausoleum with the Knight-Questor and Xandria Azurebolt facing off against the Tomb Banshee and the Briar Queen. And the Stormcast get to go first, starting with the hero phase.
So we'll try and manifest Arcane Bolt. This hits the closest enemy, which will be the Briar Queen, because she's directly across from Xandria. So needing a 5. Oh, no, getting a 4, so it doesn't go off. Then we move into the movement phase, and because the Nighthaunt have both a spell and a ranged attack, I'm going to move both of the heroes up to attack. I'm better in melee, but I have to stay 3 inches away. I'm actually going to move the Night-Questor into the centre, because I want to try and take down one hero at a time.
No ranged weapons, so it's on to the charge phase.
And we're going to start by charging Xandria.
You're going to need a 4 to get into base contact.
Getting a 7, so I'll move her there. She gets herself around there. The Night-Questor is going to charge as well. I'll roll it and see what I get. Right, so I got 7, so that's enough. In placing him in base contact, he is... Well, actually, the Tomb Banshee's a little bit off her space, so he can't get more than 3 inches away, so she will be able to pile in. In the combat phase, I get to choose who attacks, because I only get to pick one before the Nighthaunt will get to go. I'm going to pick Xandria Azurebolt to attack. She has only 3 attacks, whereas the Night-Questor has 4, but she does multiple damage, so she might be more effective. So 3 attacks hitting on 3s. Well, I wish she had something special hitting on 6s, but she doesn't. Wounding on 3s. 2 wounds. With a -1 Rend, but Night won't ignore that.
Yep, so 2 4+ saves. Well, I failed both, so that's 2d3 damage.
For 5.
Yep, so she dies.
That is enough to kill her.
But the Tomb Banshee is within 3 inches, so she will get a pile in. And she has 1 attack, hitting on a 4, but if she rolls a 6, she just immediately causes d3 mortal wounds. So she hits with a 5, wounding on a 3, wounds, it's Rend -2. But the way it goes in the magazine, you roll the dice and then subtract the Rend value from that roll and then compare it to your save. But the way we like to think about it, and I think a lot of people do, is you just take it away from the save value, so you need to roll a 5.
A 5 or a 6 will be successful, and I do get to re-roll fail saves. We'll talk about that in a minute because this might not be perfectly correct. A 1 is definitely a fail, so I will re-roll that. Into another 1, so no, it does go through.
So that's d3 damage to the Night-Questor, 1, so he's down to 4.
And then it's still my turn and I get to pick another unit to fight with. The Night-Questor obviously will hit the Banshee. He has 4 attacks and they hit on 3s. 3 hit. They wound on 3s. They're all wounded. They are again Rend -1, but Banshee ignores that.
And they're all 1 damage because he didn't roll any 6s. So I have a 4+. I made 1, so the Banshee goes down to 2 wounds. But now that's the end of the first Stormcast turn. It's on to the first Nighthaunt turn. Tomb Banshee doesn't have any spells, so I can't do anything in the hero phase. I can't move because I'm engaged in the movement phase. She doesn't have ranged attack, so it's straight to the combat phase, and I'll pick her to fight first. So she has 1 attack hitting on a 4, and misses.
Then I will pick the Night-Questor to attack back. 4 attacks on 3s, that's 2 hits. Wounding on 3s, 6s are 2 damage. It's only 1 wound, so she's not going to die.
4+, which I made.
And I can pick Xandria Azurebolt to pile in, but actually she's trapped against the table edge. She have to go off the board to get around that corner. Just a tiny bit, but enough that she can't actually pile in. And she can't get around, so she's actually stuck.
But that is the end of Nighthaunt turn 1, on to Stormcast turn 2.
Hero phase, we'll try and use Arcane Bolt.
Can shoot that into melee.
I did get a 4 this. Sorry, I got an 8, so...
So that's 1 mortal wound directly to the Banshee, so she goes down to 1. And then it's on to the combat phase where the Night-Questor gets to fight.
Yeah, Xandria is stuck in the corner, she can't even move out of there because there's no room. Oh, okay, I rolled very well to hit, wounding on 3s, 6s. Okay, so 2 6s, those are both 2 damage. Not that it matters because she's got 1 wound.
It's not going to matter because she only has 1 wound. 3 4+ saves. Oh, I failed all of them, so she takes 5 damage and dies. So that'll be victory for the Stormcast. We'll probably do another round of this, see if the Nighthaunt can do better. So we're set up for round 2. Stormcast get to go first again.
Hero phase, I'm doing Arcane Bolt again. Right, I managed to get it off this time, on an 8.
Yeah, I'll try and unbind that, so I need to roll a 9, which I did.
And then we'll move. We're going to go after the Banshee this time, just for... In charge phase, we'll do the Night-Questor first. He's in with a 7. Charge for Xandria as well, but so Xandria will charge into there. I will fight with her first again because she does have the possibility of taking out the Tomb Banshee in 1 go. 3 attacks on 3s. Not if she rolls like that. 1 hit. Wounds on a 3. Yes, it did.
4+ save. You.
So D3 damage for 2.
Actually, Banshee is down to 2 wounds. I think the Banshee will attack Xandria. So she's got 1 attack hitting on a 4. I missed.
Night-Questor will go. 4 attacks on the Banshee on 3s. 2 hits. 3s to wound. Only 1.
4+. Made it. Briar Queen could pile in, but she doesn't have a melee weapon according to the magazine, so I'm not going to do that. So we'll be on to Nighthaunt turn 1. In hero phase, I will attempt to cast Arcane Bolt. I failed with a 4. The Briar Queen can't move because she's engaged and the Banshee's in base contact. So the Briar Queen's going to use her ranged attack on Xandria. So she has 3 shots hitting on 3s, that's 2 hits. Wounding on 3s, that's 2 wounds. It's Rend -3, so you need to roll 6s.
And can't re-roll these. Nope, double 2.
And it's only 1 damage, so Xandria's down to 3. Combat phase, I will pick the Banshee to fight. She'll attack Xandria as well. 1 attack hitting on a 4. Nope.
So now I can pick somebody. So I will pick the Night-Questor to go first. The 4 attacks on 3s, that's 3 hits. Wounding on 3s.
Whoa.
No, nothing. But then I can move straight on to Xandria because Briar Queen can't do anything. On Banshee, obviously, 3 attacks on 3s. 1 hit. Wounds on a 3. Oh, it did.
4+. Yes. So that's on to Stormcast turn 2.
So we'll go for Arcane Bolt in the hero phase first of all. Just about getting it with a 5.
Yeah, try and bind that. I need a 6. Yep, got it with an 8.
On to the fight phase. Well, I'll go with the Night-Questor again, as before. 4 attacks on 3s. 3 hits. Wounding on 3s. 1, 2, 2 again. That's what are the odds of that?
So the Banshee gets to go, and I'll attack Xandria, because she hasn't fought yet. 1 attack hitting on a 4. Nope.
So Xandria gets to go. Right, she hit 3 times this time. Wounding on 3s.
You rolled, I think, 7 1s so far.
I think everyone's brought their rubber weapons this game.
Yep, it's on to Nighthaunt turn 2. So again, in the hero phase, we'll try and cast Arcane Bolt. I got it with an 8.
Alright, so what I'm going to do is use my Void Storm scroll and automatically unbind that without having to roll, but I can't do that again, but might as well.
Then in the shooting phase, the Briar Queen will scream at Xandria. So that's 2 hits, he was hitting on 3s. Wounding on 3s, 2 wounds.
Rend -3, 6s. Nope. So
Xandria goes down to 1. And then in the fight phase, I'll pick the Banshee to fight, and she'll attack Xandria. 1 attack hitting on a 4. Nope.
Right, the Night-Questor's turn. 4 attacks on 3s rather. 3 hits. Wounding on 3s.
Wow.
That's 1. Okay, he's improving.
He's got 1 out of 9 so far.
Yeah.
4+. Made it.
Xandria, can we kill this Banshee? 2 hits. Wounding on 3s. Right, that's a wound.
4+. No.
Oh.
D3 damage.
3, right, at
And
last.
the Banshee dies. At last. That was the Nighthaunt turn, so it's Stormcast turn 3.
Arcane Bolt time. 1 5. Oh, with an 11, so that's the big version if you can't
I need
unbind
a
it.
12. Nope.
So it's D3 mortal wounds. 3. Ah, yeah.
Briar Queen goes down to 2 wounds.
The Night-Questor is actually just within 3 inches of the Briar Queen, so can't move in the movement phase because he is engaged. That means we'll have to be on to the combat phase. And we'll pick Xandria first, because she needs to get out of the way. So she'll pile into there and get her attacks. On 3s, 2 hits. Wounding on 3s, 1.
4+. I'm okay. Briar Queen doesn't have a melee weapon, so she can't fight.
Night-Questor will pile in. Oh, he'll pile in like that and try and get around the Briar Queen's thorns. Right, 4 attacks on 3s. Hitting hasn't been the problem. Let's see if we can get some wounds. No, we can't. That's 2.
4+ save. Oh, I didn't make either, so he manages to kill her.
Anyway.
So that's another victory for the Stormcast. So we'll do another round and we'll let the Nighthaunt go first this time. So we're set up for round 3, and we're going to let the Nighthaunt go first this time. So in the hero phase, we'll try and cast Arcane Bolt, and it will hit Xandria if we are successful. We got it with a 5.
I'll try and unbind that normally. See if I can get more than a 5. Yeah, it's a 7.
And the Tomb Banshee is going to move her 6. Then it's the shooting phase, where the Briar Queen will scream at Xandria. 3 attacks hitting on 3s. They all hit. Wounding on 3s. 2 wounds.
6+ save, thanks to that Rend. Nope.
She's down to 3. In the charge phase, the Tomb Banshee will charge Xandria. Needing a 4, getting a 6. So the Tomb Banshee will end her charge like that, so she's in the corner, so that the Night-Questor can't get in around Xandria.
Yeah, because his base is too big.
She'll attack Xandria and maybe get a hit. Hitting on 1 attack, hitting on a 4. Nope, still can't hit anything.
Xandria will strike back on 3s, that's 2 hits. Wounding on 3s, that's 1.
4+. Nope.
D3 wounds, 3. Down to 1.
Down to 1 on the Banshee. It's on just the Stormcast turn.
So we'll try and do Arcane Bolt in the hero phase. Just about with a 6.
I'll unbind that and I need a 7. Nope. So
No.
the Banshee dies.
Takes a mortal wound. Move up, stay more than 3 inches away. And charge. We'll start with Xandria, I suppose. She's in. And the Night-Questor is also in. It doesn't matter which order I do these in because the Briar Queen doesn't have melee attack. We'll start with Xandria, I suppose. 3 attacks, 1 hit. Which did wound.
4+ save. Made it.
And the Night-Questor. Right, 2 hits, wounding on 3s.
Wow. So I don't have any melee attacks, so it's straight on to the Nighthaunt turn. We'll try and cast Arcane Bolt. No, we can't, not with the 3. We'll scream at Xandria and get 2 hits. Wounding on 3s, they both wound.
6s to save, nope.
So she's down to 1. Then it's on the combat phase where I can't fight because I don't have a melee weapon.
So let's do Xandria first. So 3 hits on 3s, and wound on 3s, 2.
4 pluses, made 1.
D3 damage for 2.
Briar Queen is down to 3.
And the Night-Questor on 3s. That's 3 hits. Wounding on 3s. Right, finally.
She's figured out which end is the pointy end. 4+. Made 1, so we're down to 1 wound.
So we will try an Arcane Bolt. There's a death. Oh, just getting it off on 5.
Needing a 6. I failed to unbind it, so the Briar Queen dies. That'll be another victory for the Stormcast. I want to do a round 4. I want to see if I can actually kill one of your heroes. So here we are, set up for round 4. I'll try and see if I can actually kill one of the Stormcast heroes this game. So in the hero phase, Briar Queen will try and manifest Arcane Bolt at Xandria. Successful with a 6.
I'll try and unbind it normally, won't use the scroll. Yep, managed it with an 8.
And the Banshee will move so she's 3 inches away, so she can get to about here. In the shooting phase, the Briar Queen will scream at Xandria, so 3 shots hitting on 3s, 2 hits, wounding on 3s. One wound.
6 to ignore it. Nope.
Down to 4 wounds. The Tomb Banshee will charge Xandria in the charge phase with a 4. That's the bare minimum. She will attack Xandria. She has 1 attack hitting on a 4. Oh my god, she hit. Wounds on a 3. It didn't wound.
Xandria gets to strike back. On 3s. 2 hits. Wounding on 3s. Ah, nothing.
That's it. So it's on to the Stormcast turn because the Night-Questor is too far away.
Hero phase. Arcane Bolt. That's an 8 to cast.
Going to try and unbind that, need a 9. Don't unbind it with a 4. The Tomb Banshee will go down to 3 wounds.
Well, the Night-Questor clearly he can't actually hurt the Banshee. Rubbish at that, so he's actually going to go after the Briar Queen. And the charge phase, the Night-Questor will charge. Yeah, he's in. We will do Xandria first, because the Banshee might be able to hit back. 3 attacks on 3s, 2 hits. Wounding on 3s, 2 wounds.
2 4+ saves. Made 1 failed 1.
D3 damage. Oh, 3.
Yeah, so the Tomb Banshee dies.
And then the Night-Questor will do 3s, 3 hits. And 3s, 2 wounds.
2 4+, fail both. So Briar Queen's down to 3. Then it's on to the Nighthaunt turn, so we will try to cast Arcane Bolt and it will hit the Night-Questor because he is the closest model. Failed with a 4, and we'll scream at him as well. We got 2 hits, wounding on 3s, 2 wounds.
6s, but re-rolling. Oh, I got 6.
So he only takes 1 wound.
And then in the combat phase, he will get to hit in the Nighthaunt turn on 3s. Were 3 hits. Wounding on 3s, 2.
2 4+ saves, made both.
On to the Stormcast turn, Arcane Bolt. Getting it with a 6.
Try and unbind it, needing a 7. No.
Xandria will move up, staying 3 inches away. And she'll charge. 10. And I suppose she'll attack on 3s. That's 2 hits. Wounding on 3s. 1.
4+. Nope.
D3 damage. Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
She's pretty good at that.
Yep. The Briar Queen dies. And I think I'll concede defeat at that point. That's 4 straight wins for the Stormcast. So I'll recap those games for you now. So that was the playthrough for issue 12 of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Mortal Realms. How did you think those went?
Well,
I think your Night-Questor did extremely poorly.
yeah, and yet despite that, I think I still won all those fairly comfortably. So I think perhaps what we can take away from it is that one-on-one, Stormcast Eternal heroes are probably better certainly than these 2 heroes. I mean, we do get some different ones later.
To be fair, I think 2 Banshee got 1 hit out of all those games, and I think the few times I successfully cast Arcane Bolt, you were able to unbind it anyway.
I think actually what the difference was probably the D3 damage from Xandria Azurebolt stick.
Yeah, she really did most of the work.
Well, the Tomb Banshee does do D3 damage, but most of your damage was from a 1 damage thing, and when both of my heroes have 5 wounds, you've got to get through quite a lot of wounds. the fact is I had more melee attacks in general, and so I'm more often going to be getting wounds through when you've got one attack hitting on 4s.
Yeah, and the Briar Queen not having a melee weapon, so you basically get 3 attacks against her.
And I mean, she should have a melee weapon. She will get one eventually.
Yeah,
but
she has a chill dagger like the Tomb Banshee and the Miremore Banshees have.
Yeah, and I guess as well that tactics when you've got these 2 heroes to face. Obviously, I tried taking out one at a time. Also, at one point, tried attacking them each at a time. But when only one of them has a melee attack, it's kind of irrelevant. But initially, I was thinking, well, I want to try and hit one and not let the other one fight, but the other one can't actually fight anyway. And if both of your units had a melee attack, you could have picked on one of mine at once without bringing the other into combat.
I mean,
whereas I couldn't because my bases are too big.
On such a small board, I think you ended up getting under each other's feet. I did try to when I went first, but the Tomb Banshee was certainly not as good as she was in her introduction. So the Briar Queen did all her work, mostly because of her -3 Rend, which is very important.
Yes, Rend is now a thing, and it's something that only I need to be scared of.
Yeah, it's a bit like how terrain is largely irrelevant for the Nighthaunt. Rend is totally irrelevant for the Nighthaunt.
Whereas some Nighthaunt units have some quite high Rend. And
it's mostly -1 and -2 for my army, I think.
But of course, if the Briar Queen had been shooting at, say, the Sequitors or the Castigades with their 4+ save, they'd need to roll a 7 to save theirs on a d6, which is not possible. Yeah, so she can do quite a bit of damage to them. Some of my units have Rend. These two both do on their melee attacks, but it doesn't matter. I guess in general, Rend is quite an important part of various units' abilities. Another dimension to attacks of various stuff, I guess. Actually, as we see with the Tomb Banshee, for example, one attack hitting on a 4, but when it does hit, -2 Rend and d3 damage. Whereas the Night-Questor has lots of attacks with a lower Rend and 1 damage.
Yeah.
So.
He's got his shield to allow him to reroll saves. Though on the subject of rerolling saves, it's not very clear whether you reroll it after the modifiers or before. So if he had to make a save against something with a Rend of -2, he would roll the dice, and if he rolled a 3, that would technically be a successful save, so he couldn't re-roll it, and then it would be adjusted by the -2, so he'd actually got 1 and failed the save. But in the magazine's example, he rolls a 4, which would normally be a success, but because of the Rend it's a fail, and then he re-rolls it. So we're not sure in what order, whether you can actually re-roll it.
Well, in the full rules for Age of Sigmar, like in Warhammer 40,000, re-rolls happen before modifiers.
At least in the rules pamphlet we have.
It's kind of irrelevant for this game because the magazine glosses over any such distinction in typical magazine fashion.
But it also makes his shield much less powerful than it looks, if that is the case.
Yeah, so if you know what the current state of that rule is, then please let us know in comments. Specifically, we want to know whether you can re-roll things that would be successes before modifiers are applied, because it will come up again, and it'd be nice to know what you're actually supposed to do. We'll check the FAQ documents after recording this and see what it says. But
another thing to point out is that the Night-Questor has another rule which we haven't learned about yet, that would have actually allowed him to get into range with the Briar Queen in one game where he couldn't get in because Xandria was in the way. He can pile in 6 inches as long as it's towards an enemy hero.
Yeah, he's kind of set up for fighting enemy characters, so he can actually...
he can actually pretty much reach for. He fights, or certainly ties up enemy heroes. And I suppose talking about the Night-Questor, I really like the model.
I do as well.
I sculpted the base for him. I think he used to come with Warhammer Quest Silver Tower, which isn't for sale anymore, at least not on the Games Workshop site. But he's a really cool looking model, and it looks very heroic.
I believe, if I remember correctly, the designer's notes when that game came out, he holds his sword in his left hand and his shield in his right because... So Night-Questors go off and fight on their own quests. They're kind of lone heroes, essentially. They go and do whatever Sigmar needs them to do. So he doesn't need to stand in a shield wall, so he's free to use his sword in his left hand because he doesn't need to line up with all his fellows. But the thing is, though, I suppose it does give him a slightly different silhouette because he's not holding his weapon in his right hand. So
I don't believe he's actually a Sacrosanct Chamber unit, hence why he doesn't have the robes.
No, you can actually see the detail on his breastplate and stuff. He was released before... He's the oldest Stormcast model we've got so far, basically. I don't know if I've said in a previous video, I don't generally like the aesthetic of the Stormcast Eternals that much. I prefer the Sacrosanct Chamber guys with all the robes like we've been getting. But for some reason, I just really like the Night-Questor. I would quite happily consider just buying him as like a painting project rather than not as part of an army.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much more to say about this battle or this issue, so if you like this content, please leave a like and subscribe and leave any comments. What do you think of the Night-Questor? What sort of tactics you use? If you hold a Night-Questor in your army, how do you use him? Or what do you use to counter him if you fought against him? We've been the Tabletop Donkeys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yep, bye for now.